Hey everyone, so welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to give you 5 quick tips for beginners in photography and filmmaking. So it doesn't matter what you use, if you are using a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera or even a mobile phone, it doesn't matter because these tips will be helpful to all of you, for beginners of course. And if you are an advanced user, this video will also be helpful to remind you of the things that you may have overlooked throughout your journey. So without further ado, let's get into it. So tip number 1, know your tools. So before shooting, of course you should know your tools. You should know how your camera works. Even in phones, you should know how it works. So in phones, it's pretty simple. The button takes a picture or video. But in a camera, there are some settings that are really essential to learn, such as the basic shutter speed, ISO, and aperture combination. Also in video, if you are using a professional camera like a DSLR or a mirrorless, you should also know what frame rates to use and what shutter speed to use with it. The golden rule is that your FPS must be the double of your shutter speed in digits. For example, your frame rate is 25 FPS, then your shutter speed must be 1/50th of a second. So that is the golden rule, but remember that not all rules must be followed, especially in creativity. So in tip number 2, if you already know how to use your tools, you should get into other tools too. So for tip number 2 is lighting is key. Remember that. Having a good light is a really big part of photography. First of all, if you know how a camera works, how a shutter works, how it works, then you will understand that a camera's friend is lighting. If you have proper lights, your image quality or even your video quality will improve drastically. So in video, if you're shooting a video or a photo, even if you're using your phone camera, using a natural light or even artificial light, using lighting in general will make your photos and videos improve better, will improve your results. So there are 2 things you can do, especially if you're a beginner. Number 1 is to use natural light beside your window. So if you're shooting videos, making videos like this one, you can sit beside your window or somewhere near your window, open your curtains, and then you will see how your image quality improves a whole lot better. And if you have the budget to buy some artificial lights like what I do, you can buy cheap softbox lights. Even if because you're just a beginner, you can start with something small. You can buy a ring light to put some rings on your eyes, and softbox lights, the artificial lighting, you know what I mean. Okay, so remember that lighting is key. A camera's friend is lighting, because that's how cameras work. They use light to capture images. So now we know that lighting is key in photography. And tip number 3, be steady. Firm your grip when you're holding the camera. So first of all, since lighting is key, but what if you are in a situation where there's low light? So that's when you must hold your camera in place really steady. You can use a tripod, or you can use, if you want to use your body in holding your camera steady, make sure to use both of your arms, then your elbows must be attached to your chest or somewhere nearer to your chest. It must be closer to your body. And then if you have a neck strap, make sure that your neck strap will be tight while holding your camera. And if you're going to move, use your body to move. Use your whole body to move your feet, and do not use your arms to move it. With this trick, your video shoot or your image will be more stabilized. So this is really helpful if you're shooting videos. Also, if you have a gimbal or a mobile phone stabilizer, if you have any stabilizer in general, please do not depend on that 100% in making your videos stabilize. Okay, so a big part of using a gimbal or stabilizer is using your feet wisely. So if you have a gimbal or stabilizer, make sure to crouch a little or bend your knees a little while walking, to avoid some jittery movements that will be caused by the stabilizer and your walking motion, because stabilizers are not perfect. So that's a tip for beginners, because a lot of beginners has these cheap stabilizers. Even me myself, I have a cheap stabilizer for my mobile phone, and so moving more just because you have a stabilizer doesn't mean that your videos or your photos will be stabilized. Number 4 is to explore. So many beginners out there wants to shoot really great photos right away, but you wouldn't know how to shoot really great photos if you haven't explored it yet. So you can explore many things. You can explore themes, you can explore subjects or shooting styles. You can explore your camera settings. Yeah, you can explore what those knobs do. You can explore what the modes do of your camera, and if you have learned all of these things, I mean, you can move on from being a beginner. But remember that learning or knowing all of these things doesn't make you a good photographer. Just try to explore. It doesn't hurt in exploring. You can try various techniques too, like rule of thirds, learning that. Just explore to your heart's content, because remember that experience is key, besides lighting, of course. I mean, experience is the greatest teacher, so the more you explore, the more you will learn, and the faster you can get out of the beginner phase. So that's for tip number 4. And now for tip number 5 is to keep shooting. So being stagnant isn't bad, but it's a little bit bad, not because you will have less photos on your Instagram feed or for your portfolio, but because those creativity juices in your head will eventually run out. And if that's not true for you, just try to keep shooting, because the more you shoot, the more you will learn. The more you will realize that, wow, my shots really needs to be improved a lot more. Then the more you realize that, the more that you will try to improve yourself. You will be more eager to learn more techniques from different forums, from people on the internet. So that's why you should keep shooting. So if you keep shooting, try to post many pictures that you think that are good or great, and make sure to ask your friends, your family for some feedback, and try to learn from criticism, because not everyone looks at a picture the same way. It's okay if people tell that your pictures are bad, but don't let that comment, don't let them consume you. Use those feedback, those comments into improving yourself more, because photos are something that people will see. Not only you will see, not only other photographers will see, but everyone will be able to see. Of course, if you post it in your feed. Just remember that professionals aren't automatically good at what they do. They started as being a beginner just like you are. So at first they didn't know how to shoot a camera that nicely. They didn't even know how to use the manual settings. They must have started the automatic settings, and if you are on that phase, there's no problem with it. There will be a problem if you chose to be stagnant. There will only be a problem if you wanted to be great, if you wanted to succeed, if you wanted to shoot photos, good photos, great photos, but you don't act upon it. The only problem is that you don't do what you need to do. You don't learn, you don't shoot, you don't try, you don't even try. You just keep complaining, you just keep wanting. That's what's wrong with many people. So these are just 5 tips, 5 beginner tips that I can give to all of you as a beginner myself too. I think I shouldn't be making this video, but yeah, so these are 5 tips that are, I believe, really helpful for beginners out there. And these tips are also suitable for photographers or aspiring photographers, videographers, filmmakers that are using a mobile phone. Because me myself, I started shooting in a mobile phone and I saw my videos and they were so bad. And the tips I gave you earlier, those are, if I only apply them while using my mobile phone while I was recording videos at that time, I guess they will improve a lot more. So let me summarize the 5 tips. So number 1, know your tools. Number 2, lighting is key. Number 3, be steady. And number 4, explore. Number 5, keep shooting. So those are just 5 tips. I know you can find other tips as well on other videos, and I suggest you do that too, because the more you learn, the more that you will improve, and the more you can, and the faster you can get out on the beginner phase. And just remember that the greatest enemy you have right now, the greatest obstacle that you have right now, the greatest critic you have right now is yourself. So thank you guys for watching, and if you like my video, please hit the like button below, and if you want more videos like this, comment it down below or subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell icon. So thank you guys for watching. Cheers. How do I do my outro though?